Hello, I'm Cressida and I'm reading How to Train Your Dragon. I've just got to a really exciting bit, which is chapter 13, when yelling doesn't work. The dragon slept on as the Council of War argued about what to do next. I am going to write a strongly worded letter to Professor Yobbish, said Stoic the Mast. This book needs a lot more words to tell you what to do if yelling doesn't work. Which shows how cross Stoic was. He never wrote a letter if he could help it. Stoic, in fact, was really rattled for the first time in his life. This is what comes of not following the laws, he thought to himself. If I had banished the boys last night like I should have done, they would not be here to die with the rest of us. I should have put my trust in Thor. I'm not sure Stoic is understanding the moral of this story. Mogadon the Meathead had not yet realised the gravity of the situation. He thought it was a question of constructing some sort of megaphone machine to make the yell sound bigger. A gigantic dragon just needs a gigantic yell, he said. We already tried that, oh Plankton Brain, said Stoic. Who are you calling Plankton Brain? Demanded Mogadon, and they went whisker to whisker like a couple of furious walruses. Hiccup sighed and walked out of the village. He had a feeling that the grown-ups weren't going to come up with anything fiendishly clever. To Hiccup's surprise, he was followed not only by Fishlegs, but by all the novices from both the Hooligan and the Meathead tribes. They stood around Hiccup in a semicircle. So, Hiccup, said Thuggery the Meathead, what are we going to do now then? What do you mean by asking Hiccup? Demanded Snotlout crossly. You're not going to ask the useless to get us out of this mess, are you? He just single-handedly got us to fail the final initiation test. We were about to be banished and eaten by cannibals, all because of him. He can't even control a dragon the size of an earwig. Can you talk to dragons then, Snotface? Asked Fishlegs. I am pleased to say I cannot, said Snotlout with dignity. Well, shut up then, said Fishlegs. Snotlout got hold of Fishlegs by the arm and started twisting. Nobody tells Snotface Snotlout what to do, hissed Snotlout. I do, said Thuggery the Meathead. He grabbed Snotlout by the shirt and lifted him clear off the ground. Oh, this is good for Snotlout. Your dragon got us felled just as much as his. I didn't notice anybody's dragon sitting up and begging like a good boy in the middle of that dragon fight. You shut up or I shall tear you limb from limb and feed you to the gulls, you winkle-hearted, seaweed-brained, limpet-eating pig. Okay, so that is Thuggery the Snotlout. Thuggery giving Snotface Snotlout a taste of his own medicine. Snotlout looked into Thuggery's stern little eyes. Snotlout, shut up. Thuggery dropped him and wiped his hands disdainfully on his tunic. Anyway, said Thuggery, my father was on that stupid council of elders too. I'm with Hiccup. What kind of father puts his stupid laws before the life of his son? And what kind of stupid test was that anyway? If we save all those stupid people from a real dragon like this one, maybe they'll let us into their stupid tribe after all. Well, thought Hiccup. This is a turn-up for the book. Maybe that dragon was right, and he is going to help me with my it's hard to be a hero problem. Before he eats me, of course. One solo meeting with the Green Death, and here were 19 young barbarians, most of them much bigger and tougher and rougher than Hiccup, looking at Hiccup expectantly to tell them what to do. Hiccup stood on tiptoe and tried to look like a hero. Okay, said Hiccup, I need some time to think. Give the boys some room here, said Thuggery, pushing all the others back. He swept off a rock for Hiccup to sit on. You just knew all the thinking you need, boyo, said Thuggery. This is a situation that needs a lot of thought, and I have a feeling that you're the only one here who can do it. Anybody who can have a 20-minute conversation with a winged shark the size of a planet and come out of it alive is a better thinker than I am. Hiccup found himself warming to Thuggery the Meathead, and so am I, actually. You can recognise Hiccup's value. "Quiet!" yelled Thuggery. "Hiccup is thinking." Hiccup thought, and he thought. After about half an hour, Thuggery said, "Whatever you're thinking about to get rid of that monster, better work for both of them." "There's another dragon?" said Hiccup. Thuggery nodded. "I went up to the highest point and spotted him while you were having your chat with that big green one." "OK," said Hiccup. "That's good news, actually. Let's go and check out this new horror." The trail up to the highest point was littered with scallop shells and dolphins' bones thrown up by the gigantic storm. Along the way, they even passed the wreck of one of Stoic's favourite ships, the Pure Adventure, lost at sea 7 years before, and now perched crazily on a rock 3/4 of the way up the biggest hill on Burke. Once you were right at the top, it was possible to see most of Burke's coastline and the sea encircling you on all sides. Right at the other end of the island, a dragon entirely filled up Unlandable Cove and spilled out the sides. It was that big. He was resting his vast, wicked chin on the cliff as a pillow. Great plumes of violet smoke came belching out of his snoring nostrils. He was another sea dragon as gigantic as Maximus, this time a glorious deep purple in colour, and if anything, slightly larger than the one at Long Beach. "The purple death, I presume," whispered Hiccup shakily. "This is just what we need. Are you sure there aren't any more?" Thuggery laughed slightly hysterically. "I think it's just the 2 nightmare-killing machines. 2 not enough for you?" Back at the highest point, Hiccup outlined his plan of action. It was fiendishly clever, but a bit desperate. "We aren't big enough to fight these dragons," said Hiccup, "but they can fight each other. We have to get them really angry at one another. We hooligans will concentrate on the green death, and you meatheads will deal with the purple death. The one thing we will need is our own dragons, who seem to have disappeared," said Hiccup. "So we better start calling for them." Yes, I was really worrying about what happened to the domestic dragons. Where is Toothless? They started calling for their dragons as loudly as they dared, and then louder still as there was no response. The 20 dragons that belonged to the novices were not, in fact, very far away at all. They had made up after the dragon fight and were now hiding in a piece of boggy bracken about 100 yards or so away from where the boys were standing on the highest point. They were crouching like giant cats in the ferns, wicked eyes gleaming, watching the novices. They were now so exactly the shade of a clump of bracken that they seemed to have melted entirely into the bog. If you had been a rabbit or a deer, you would not even have noticed them. That's one of them. That's Newt's breath. Let's see. And that's Bright Claw, just there. Until you felt the talons on your back and the hot fire on your neck. They'd been following the boys for a while. "So," whispered Fireworm, her tongue flickering menacingly, "what do we do now, then? The power is shifting on this island. The masters will not be masters for much longer. They are trapped like lobsters in a pot. We are not. We can fly whenever we want. Do we obey, or do we desert? Dragons are not the sort of creatures to back a loser." "Whichever we do," grumbled Biteclaw, "let's do it quickly. My wings are freezing up." "We could kill the boys now and take them as an offering to the new master," suggested Sea Slug. Wow, with a grunt of greedy pleasure. "What, that great green devil on the beach?" said Horrorcloud placidly. "Well, I'm so glad that Horrorcloud doesn't think that's a good idea. I don't like the look of him myself. He has too big an appetite. We might find ourselves as his next meal." "We fly then," said Brightclaw, and the others murmured their agreement. "Silence," hissed Fireworm. "These islands are perilous," she sneered. We might fly straight into danger even bigger than the mouth of this one. I say we obey until we are sure that they have lost. When that time comes, I will give the signal for us to desert." Oh, dragons are not loyal creatures. And so, as if from nowhere, Fireworm and Sea Slug, Horrorcow and Killer, Brightclaw and Alligator Tiger, and all the other dragons flew out of their hiding place and came circling slowly up to the highest point, landing on each boy's outstretched arm. Last of all came Toothless, complaining horribly. "Dragons," said Hiccup, and he explained the fiendishly clever plan, which I'm going to tell you tomorrow, because that's chapter 14. Better be a good one.